Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to talk about using the new Arcane Cataclysm box set for Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry. Now, we're going to take a look at the Disciples of Tzeentch half of this box set, look at the contents of the box set, talk about some Tzeentch basics, and then go through all the different units inside this box set and what they can do on the tabletop. We'll then give you a little sample warband at the end of the video for you to use some inspiration for creating your own Disciples of Tzeentch warband with the Arcanines for Warcry using the contents of this box set. And so, talking about the contents of the box set, we get a Cursling, we get 10 Xangor, which are really cool, give us plenty of different options to play around within Warcry. We get then 3 Xangor Skyfires or Xango Enlightened. If you're wanting to play Age of Sigmar, you obviously want to build these all as the same miniatures, though there's no reason if you are going for Warcry first to maybe build these as different models. And then we've got 20 Carrick Acolytes, which again just give us a ton of different options for different fighters available in Warcry. Now onto the basics for the Disciples of Tzeentch. First of all, they're a bit of a mixed bag, the Arcanites. You've got some strong range damage with a variety of different units, from your wizards to actual shooting units, and you've got backed up generally by some good offensive melee fighters. Generally, you're not the greatest on the defense, but you do have some cool abilities that allow you to play around with stuff like that. Your abilities generally will focus on modifying rolls and or modifying other abilities as well. You've also got some damage dealing and boosting abilities in there, but the majority of them are going to modify and make what you're doing already better. So, lastly, we've got the cool reaction for the Disciples of Tzeentch. I really like their reaction, where you can change the value of one of your doubles to the value of a hit roll made against one of your fighters after an activation as a reaction. This twist of fate can allow if your opponent rolls a 6 to hit one of your fighters, you can instantly go, cool, now my double's a 6 with this. Which can be really, really powerful. So some nice abilities are there for the Disciples of Tzeentch. And so first up, we have the Cursling. Now this is the leader option we've got inside the box set. Now the Cursling's pretty cool. First of all, it's got a basic sort of wizard attack, 3 to 7 inch range, and then that 2 attacks, strength 3, 3, 6 on the damage. So already some decent damage. However, unlike a lot of wizards, it's actually not too shabby in melee, with 4 attacks at a 2 inch range, 4 attacks being strength 4, and then 2/5 on its damage as well. It's got no exclusive abilities to the Cursling, but it does get access to the leader rune mark, which means you can use the other Arcanite leader abilities. First of all, which a double is Locus of Sorcery. We can add half the value of this ability to the strength of its ranged attacks. Or you can use Master of Destiny, where until the end of the battle round, you add the value of this ability of other modifiers for those abilities used by friendly fighters within 12 inch. So some nice cool ways to not only buff itself up at range, but also buff the abilities of others being used around this model. Now, lastly, this is actually a defensively strong piece. I know I said we've not really got a lot of defensive pieces in the Disciples of Tzeentch, but for a hero, the Cursling with that defense of 5 is really nice in the Disciples of Tzeentch army, where generally a lot of your fighting heroes will have that defense of 3. You've got 28 wounds there as well, which is really nice, making it, a solid option for your Warband's champion. Moving on, we have the Xango Warriors here as well. Now, we've got a variety of different options in this kit that we can use, from the Twist Ray, which is the champion option, the Mutant, and different weapon options for the regular Xangor as well, including a hand weapon and shield, a pair of twin Savage Blades, or indeed the Savage Great Blades as well. These models can range in points from 140 points for the Twist Ray, 85 for the Mutant, and 75 to 105 for the various different Xangor weapon options we have available to us. Generally, we can talk about the weapon options. You will find most of these fighters will be 15 wounds and a defense of 3, though you will get some extra defense if you take a shield, so both the Twist Ray and those with shields otherwise, with the Savage Great Blade and shields, will have a nice defense of 4 there. Now, the big difference between the attacks. First of all, the Savage Great Blade is the most expensive. It gives you access to strength 4 and 2/5 on its damage. Meanwhile, the other fighters will have 1/4 on the damage and only strength 3. However, you will get 3 attacks with a pair of Savage Blades over the extra defense on the shield. And you'll get strength 4 on the Twist Blade with 2/4 on its damage as well. So, slightly better. For me, I really do like the Mutant as well, which will pack out 4 attacks at strength 3, so I think for me the Mutant is a little bit better than the other Savage Great Blades there. So I'd be taking the big Great Blade, a Mutant, and generally a couple of fighters with shields, and probably a Twist Break if I'm looking at what I think the Xango are worth it. I don't think the Xangos with Savage Blades are worth it compared to looking at that Xango Mutant. Now, all of these fighters can use the Vicious Beak ability for a double to roll a number of dice equal to the value of this ability, and for every 4+, they can cause a wound to an enemy fighter within an inch of them. And so then we have the Xango Enlightened. Now, these are pretty much stronger and faster moving as long as they're mounted on their discs, versions of the regular Xango. We've got a defensive 4 regardless with the Xango Enlightened, and they've got 18 or 22 wounds if we go with the ones on disc. You also got some champion options for them as well, which is really cool, with the Enlightened Aviarch on disc as well, which is really cool, getting up to nice 26 wounds. Now, we've got some cool things we can do with these fighters. First of all, they do have that fly rune mark, so long as they are on their discs, and they've got their own Guided by the Past ability as well, where they're going to get bonus damage against enemy fighters that have already activated in the round. Now, Xango Skyfires can also be built with this kit, and they're a nice range damage dealing option. You've got 2 shots at strength 4, 2/5 on the damage at range with your Skyfires, defensive 4 and 18 wounds as well. Their ability works on bonus damage and giving it against fighters who have not already activated in the round. So a couple of different options on how you can build the kit here to get a couple of different fighters. They do range in points from the undisc mounted Xangor being 150 renown to 220 for a regular Enlightened on disc, or 225 for the Xangor Skyfire on disc as well. And lastly, we have the Carrick Acolytes. Now, we've got loads of different options for different fighters in this, much like the Xangor kit. Now, we've got the Carrick Adept, which is a leader option, and then we've got different weapon loadouts, same as the Xangor, from the two-handed weapon, the greater weapon, to the dual-wielding weapons, to the sword and shield as well. The big difference here being that your Great Blade weapon wielders are able to use shields as well, unlike their Xangor counterparts. So you're actually going to get more fighters in the Carrick Acolytes that are going to have that nice defensive 4 from having their shields, which I think is really, really cool and definitely does help them. They've also got ranged attacks as well, with 2 attacks at strength 3, 1/3 on the damage, or this does go up to strength 4 when you are using the model with the Scroll of Dark Arts. They're generally all 10 wounds as well, ranging from 90 to 95 points, or 130 for the Adept, getting all those leader options as well. And lastly, we have the Vulchark, which has its own unique ability that stops the enemy fighters being able to make disengage actions for a round. You can pick an enemy fighter within 20 inch of the Vulchark for the cost of just a double, and they can't make disengage actions. Really good for keeping an enemy fighter where you want them. And so here we have a sample warband using models only from this box set. And so obviously playing Disciples of Tzeentch using the Arcanites. Now, for leaders, we've got the Curseling, Eye of Tzeentch. It's just a solid leader option with those 28 wounds, toughness 5. Really great for being a leader for the 4s. A great thing with your leaders, generally there are some scenarios that will want your leaders dead for your opponent to get points, and so having a tough leader is definitely the way to go, and there is no tougher in the Disciples of Tzeentch than this guy. Now we've got a Carrick Adept there as well, a solid secondary leader, generally a cheaper option than some of the other leader options we have, and I think for the extra 10 renown we're saving, he is slightly worth it more than the Xangor leader. Now, fighter-wise, we've got one Xangor with Savage Blade and Arcanite Shield. The reason we've got that in here, honestly, is because we didn't have the points to get another Cursed Glaive and Arcanite Shield. We then have the Xangor Mutant, which I think is the best dual-hand weapon wielder, a good offensive piece to have available to you. And then we've got 3 different Carrick Acolytes, one with the Cursed Glaive and Arcanite Shield, one with the Scroll of Dark Arts, and one with the Vulchark. All really solid fighters. And lastly, we've got a Xango Enlightened on Disc of Tzeentch. Now, this is a perfect 1000 renown and 125 wounds, which is pretty standard for Warcry. If you've got some thoughts on how you'd use this box set, what you'd grab next, or indeed, if you've been playing with the Disciples of Tzeentch, the Arcanites in Warcry, let us know how you've been going and what you would do down in the comments below. That's the end of the video, everyone. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, drop us a comment down below in the comment section and let us know what you enjoyed about the video and what you'd like to see more of on the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here we have at Sinful Gaming, you can do so on our Discord server, which is linked in the video's description. Also linked in the video's description is our Patreon and YouTube members where you can go to help support the channel and allow us to keep doing what we're doing. As a special thank you to our Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, Soren, Greenskins Gaming, Kenny Lauer, Outer Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Derek and Giappy390, and to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, and Monty's Tabletop Terrain. And lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Thank you all for watching. Once again, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now, everyone.